Welcome everyone. At the top of this edition of Straight at 8, we're bringing you breaking news of how the CBI has registered an FIR in the Sushant death case. They have named Rhea Chakraborty, her mother, father and brother as accused as well. The FIR has also been registered against Samuel Miranda and Shruti Modi and unknown persons. Let's also go across to my colleague Shavan Sen, who's joining us. So Shavan, 6 named individuals and 7 unknown persons have now been named as far as the CBI's FIR is concerned. These are charges of wrongful confinement, theft, defrauding and abetment to suicide, as per the charges that were first slapped against these individuals in the FIR with Patna police.
Well, in fact, Shivani, this is just re-registering the case. This is on the basis of the consent that has been given by the Bihar government for the CBI investigation. So it is essentially a reproduction of the original case that was registered by the Central Bureau of Investigation. So what are the charges that we are looking at? We're looking at wrongful confinement. We're looking at criminal intimidation. We're looking at cheating, theft, and not just that, abetment to suicide. These are some of the main charges that have been invoked in this particular FIR that has been registered by the Central Bureau of Investigation. There are 6 people who have been named as an accused. You have Rhea Chakraborty as one of the prime accused as far as this case is concerned. And then you have Rhea Chakraborty's family members, Shauvik, her father as well as mother. They have been named in it. Along with it, Samuel Miranda, who in fact is now being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Samuel Miranda has been named as an accused. And not just that, Shruti Modi, the business manager, has also been named as an accused in this particular case. They have certainly left an option of certain unknown people, because remember, this is just a stepping stone for this entire investigation. So in the days to come, as the investigation progresses, perhaps there would be more characters that would essentially be revealed. And that's the reason why this entire other part of it, that the 7th part of it, of unknown persons, have been left open. But clearly this is one big step and one big win in this entire relentless campaign that has been carried out, trying to expose the kind of loopholes in this entire investigation that was carried out by the Mumbai police. Because remember, Mumbai police right from day one really did not want to look into some areas which were basically out in the open. It was something that they should have looked into. But what Mumbai police was essentially looking at was, say for instance, kind of a contract that was signed by the actor 5 years ago, which was completely irrelevant to this entire investigation. And not just that, now over the last few days we have highlighted the several inconsistencies that have been seen in various testimonies of people who were supposed to be close to Sushant Singh Rajput. For instance, you have had Sandeep Singh. Then you've had Siddharth Pithani. Their accounts become extremely crucial, because we have highlighted how their statements are quite inconsistent. So perhaps in the days to come, one would look at the Central Bureau of Investigation looking into these areas that have already been highlighted by the public media network. Now, what is important to also look at is whether it
absolutely. With the CBI now registering this investigation officially, Shavan, there will be hope that all the aspects that Republic TV has highlighted will be looked into. While primarily, as Prakash is also joining us, this is at the behest of the family's complaint that was originally an FIR with the Patna police and has since been transferred to the CBI. Once the CBI takes hold of this case, Prakash, though, there is of course confidence and hope that all other aspects will also be looked into, which Mumbai police has very conveniently forgotten or chosen not to look into, despite the fact that they knew that the family had suspicions on these very individuals and a threat to life of Sushant Singh Rajput way back from February. They never looked into these leads. Now finally the CBI can do so.
Well, yes, CBI now will have enough documents, investigations of Republic TV they can access, and the job has been made much more easier. Now that the FIR has been lodged here in Delhi, and a DIG rank officer would be leaving for Patna tomorrow to investigate into the case, and then they would be meeting the team of officials that went to Mumbai, and then close coordination with the DGP, ADG headquarters, and IG Patna and SSP Patna Patna and the 4-member team which was there in Mumbai to investigate, whose investigation was being blocked, they would be meeting and handing over the papers. Now, one thing is for sure, that with independent agency coming into the picture as the matter is still in the court because Maharashtra government has challenged the jurisdiction of the spot of incidents. They say that Bihar government has no role in it. We'll wait and watch what the Supreme Court directs. But the CBI coming into the picture, their job has been made much more easier with the kind of investigation Republic TV has done. And they can move forward and investigate even more further because they will have access to more scientific analysis of tower dumping, mobile location, and then various other interrogation of the people involved, the characters involved. And of course, the Disha Salian and Sushant
Absolutely.
death
So,
probe.
Prakash, the news is clearly tightening as far as Rhea Chakraborty and family, especially the brother who had dealings with Sushant Singh directly, and also the individuals like Samuel Miranda. I believe my colleague Alisha is also joining us now. In Mumbai, we've been trying to track both Rhea Chakraborty and the likes of Samuel Miranda. The latter has actually now been investigated and spoken to by the Enforcement Directorate. But Rhea Chakraborty, whether she'll attend those summons for tomorrow by the ED is still unclear. So now, all of these individuals, Alisha, Rhea Chakraborty and family who've been missing, they're not in Mumbai, they're not at their residence for the last 10 days, as you found out. And also Samuel Miranda, who has been evading everyone for so far, but has now finally surfaced before the ED. All of them have been made accused in the CBI's complaint as well. So there's really nowhere to hide or run.
देखिए बिल्कुल एक तरफा सुशांत सिंह के जस्टिस के लिए जहां पर एक रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क के जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन के बाद एक मुहिम हम ओवरऑल इंडिया जो है देख रहे थे कि लोगों की अब यही उम्मीद बची थी क्योंकि मुंबई पुलिस के इन्वेस्टिगेशन पर कहीं ना कहीं सवाल ज़रूर खड़े हुए थे और उसी के बाद ये साबित खुद सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हो गई थी। जो FIR दर्ज की गई है अब मामला पूरा जो है वो CBI पर देखा जाएगा। पर वहीं पर रिया चक्रवर्ती की बात करें क्योंकि जो FIR उनके पास दर्ज की थी उसके बाद से रिया चक्रवर्ती अपने घर पर यहाँ पर जुहू के घर पर वो रहती है उससे करीबन 10 दिन से अब तक वो अपने घर पर नहीं पहुंची है। एक तरफा एक्सप्लेनेशन वो एक वीडियो के जरिए आ रही है। आज भी जहाँ पर हमने इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जहाँ पर उनके जो गेटकीपर है उनसे बातचीत की तो उन्होंने भी यही कहा कि रिया चक्रवर्ती और उनका परिवार जो है पिछले 10 दिन से घर पर लौटा ही नहीं है, ना ही उनसे कोई मिलने के लिए नहीं आया है। पर कल
So there has been an attempt to move away from Mumbai by Rhea Chakraborty and family. We've also seen that some of the other associates who were at the spot at the time the body was found also were allowed to move away from Mumbai. Let me go back across to my colleague Shavan also. So Shavan, what more details are you picking up as to the team that the CBI has constituted to look into this case?
Well, in fact, an additional director rank officer would be overall monitoring this entire case. The progress of this entire case would be also closely monitored by the joint director. Now, as far as the additional director's role is concerned, remember the fact here is that you would have the DIG who would be submitting a progress report from time to time. Now, this is going to be looked after by the AC6 unit of the Central Bureau of Investigation. This is the special crime unit that would be looking into the special crime branch, rather the SIT branch of the Central Bureau of Investigation, which has been tasked with this entire case. You've had some very senior officers who are basically part of this entire investigation. Some officers who've had decades of experience, and especially in cases. Now, it's important to point out here that especially when you're looking at an abetment to suicide case, remember, CBI has also probed the Jia Khan case. The Jia Khan case, which was initially probed by Mumbai police, was later then transferred from the state CID to then the Central Bureau of Investigation. And not to forget, also you've had the Shida Bora case, which was looked after by the the SIT branch of the Central Bureau of Investigation. So clearly, yet another case now going to be handled by the Central Bureau of Investigation. But this time, what's very different is that clearly with the kind of reports that have been put out by the Public Media Network, it's quite evident that this case cannot be looked into isolation. This case has been linked to another case of the mysterious death of his manager, that of Disha Salyan. So it remains to be seen whether at all the ambit of this entire investigation would be widened, or as it appears at this point in time, the stepping stone would essentially be just the Bihar FIR, which looks at abetment to suicide.
Yeah.
Criminal
But that is a huge stepping stone, isn't it? This is a big victory, Shravan, Prakash and Alisha, for the family as well, that has been asking for truth to come out in this case, Prakash. They've been asking for a CBI probe after being very patient with the Mumbai police's probe. It's also a big victory for all of Sushant Singh Rajput's fans. And here at Republic TV, where we've been mounting one investigation after another to really push investigative agencies to find out the truth. We established that link between Disha Salyan's death and Sushant's death. And even though that is not, at the beginning, the mandate of the CBI, once they start looking into this case, I think they will be free to look into whatever aspects they can look into to get to the bottom of what has happened. If they are linked, then surely the CBI cannot be held back from investigating that as well. But this must come as a major relief for the family, Prakash, because there has been a sense amongst them that more than what has come out or has been spoken about or what has been projected is the truth as far as Sushant's death is concerned.
Well, yes, it's a sense of relief for the family members, because at the end of the day want justice, because the four sisters in the family and father, they have lost their brother and son, only brother and only son. So it's a very sad case for all of them. And since Sushant was very close to his sister, so CBI probe and by an independent investigating agency is a must, and that is how he can get justice. Sushant Singh Rajput, the manner in which he died under mysterious circumstances, whether it was a murder or an abetment of suicide, the agencies will unearth those things. But we at Republic TV, with our relentless campaign...
Prakash, sorry to interrupt you here, but this would be a good time to remind our viewers exactly what is it that the family fears Rhea and associates have done. They had lodged their FIR initially in Patna, on the basis of which now this case has transferred to CBI, and the same individuals, 6 individuals plus unknowns, perhaps for later inquiry, have been named as accused in the CBI FIR copy. So, Prakash, for the benefit of our viewers, briefly, if you could just re-establish what the family fears Rhea and associates did, and why did they feel compelled to lodge a case against them?
Well, to begin with, the family had fear of losing Sushant ever since Rhea came into Sushant's life. And when we broke that story a couple of 4 or 5 days back, when a WhatsApp message was circulated that on 25th February, the family has forewarned the Mumbai police that Sushant's life is in danger. And thereafter, no action was taken. And then a video statement came out of from the father that on 14th June, he had reiterated in his statement to the Mumbai police that action should be taken against those people against whom his family members had forewarned to the Mumbai police to take action, but no action was taken. And then he had no option but to file an FIR in the Patna police, where Mr. K.K. Singh, father of Sushant Singh Rajput, lives in Patna. And he alleged that it was a criminal conspiracy of loot and abetment of suicide. And we also unearthed those bank statements in which it was established that it was an organized loot for the past 1 year or so, and Rhea and her brother's expenses were met from Sushant Rajput's bank account. And also, as a matter of fact, it was well established by the bodyguard's statement, the trainer's statement, and various other sting operations we conducted that Rhea changed systematically and in an organized way, changed the loyal staffs of Sushant Singh Rajput to have full control over the finances of Sushant Rajput. And there were theories of black magic also. And then today we accessed the call details in which she had blocked Sushant Rajput in between 8th to 14th, and she claimed that she had had temporarily left the place. How can you temporarily leave a place when you are in a live-in relationship and you block a person? So that's the question that will be debated in the court of law. That is contradictory statement in her petition as well.
And that also interestingly happened after Disha Salian's death. Rhea moving out of their joint residence happened after Disha Salian's death. So a lot seems to have happened in the period between Disha Salian allegedly feeling threat to herself, which some confidants say she had shared with Sushant, and then her death and what happened with Sushant ultimately. A big thanks to Shravan, Prakash and Alisha for joining us. We'll keep getting you more on the CBI probe in just a bit.